Right, folks, welcome to the monumental 20th episode of the Whiskey and White Show. And today, we're joined by
Royalty,
acting royalty, Irish acting legend, the top of the pops up and down this country. Lads, you can see who it is, and ladies.
don't even need to mention his name.
I know, but don't. The one and only, Jimmy Nesbitt. What a guy. And you know, the show's brought to you in association with Dragon Claw Irish Whiskey. You know, it's the best. If you're into whiskies, if you're not, this is the one for you.
Yeah.
And
then Recovery Hub also will be up in Work West, is it? Work West. Will be Recovery Hub, if you use our promo code Whiskey30, then get 30% off. Always good to get a deal.
Yep. So here we are. This is a world exclusive. Jimmy Nesbitt's first ever podcast.
I think it is.
Podcast
We'll
version.
just say it is anyway.
No, I'm pretty certain. I think I did one. Well, I did a sort of a pilot one, but that was supposed to be me fronting it with Ian Poulter, golfer. But technically it didn't work, and I don't know if we could. I don't think he kind of fancied the idea of it. So my podcast career was cut very short.
So you were going to start your own podcast?
That was the plan, I think, at the time. And then I'm supposed to have done. Shane Todd's been on to me for years.
Shane, forget about it.
It's gone.
It's one and done. There's no more. This is first and final.
Yeah. So no, here, no, it's good.
What are you working at the minute?
I start in about. I think I start about 3 weeks today, or 3 weeks yesterday. There's a Sky Christmas film.
Okay.
They do a different Christmas film every year, and they're doing one in Belfast. It's a really good, brilliant script, and so I am playing.
Cop.
No.
The detective and everything.
No, I'm retired as a cop. The longest serving policeman in Northern Ireland is retired. No, I'm playing Santa, actually.
Are you?
Yeah. Might be a bad Santa.
I think you could do a good Santa, you know?
Yeah, man, might be
You need to start growing that beard.
No, I'm getting at it, so I'm going to do that. But it's good, because I haven't worked for one. I mean, I've been working non-stop, so I took a wee bit of time off there.
Yeah.
Did a bit of travelling, a bit of holidaying, a bit of sleeping.
Where were you?
Went to Mexico.
Mexico? What part of Mexico? Been a few
No, I've been. I took my growing up daughters. I took them a few years ago to Tulum on the east side. But then I went to the west to Cabo San Lucas near the California side.
All right.
We boxed in Guadalajara.
Guadalajara World Championships.
Brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant.
We say brilliant, but see, as soon as we landed, we got to the hotel. A bomb went off. I said,
how long was that?
2008.
And just seen the Irish coaches from Dublin, just the Belfast lads, they'll feel at home here.
Was it juniors or what then? What?
Under
Juniors,
18s.
Under 18s.
Yeah, you know your stuff.
Yeah, brilliant, very good.
Have you ever boxed before? No.
No, I didn't box.
No. I don't know why you're knowing all the lingo.
No, but I must have been. I thought, well,
Yeah, no.
How did you get on?
I got a bronze medal.
I got beat up.
He let himself down. He was tipped all the way. And
Hello. I was shocked.
no, it's like sport, you know what I mean? It's all down to the day, isn't it? But yeah, I got a bronze and
You were a sporty guy yourself.
carried the team on my
No, I
back.
played a fair amount. I mean, I was like
Rugby? You were rugby?
I played a lot of football when I was young. But then I went to like Korean ends, and you couldn't play football, or, it's rugby. So I moved from, because I used to play soccer in the BB and stuff, and then I went to. Played rugby at school, but I played a good bit of tennis. Played a lot of sport. I was very into sport because I grew up with 3 older sisters, so I just kind of spent my childhood. My dad was my primary school headmaster in the country.
That must have been tough.
But there's only 30 or 40 in the school. I mean, it was a very small school, so I just spent.
That's even worse. You can't.
You can't.
You're under more scrutiny.
No, but it was brilliant actually. It was just all farmers and children, and plus them, me and my sisters, but I had, as I said, 3 sisters, so I just grew up kicking the ball against the wall. Really. It was
Did your daddy give you backlash for wanting to be an actor instead of a teacher? Because it seemed
they
all
were
your
all gonna be
sisters,
teachers.
all your sisters, teachers.
Well, they all were teachers, and I was probably going to be a teacher, but I just knew I wouldn't be. I sort of knew I wouldn't be the teacher that he was in a way. He was good, and also I just kind of discovered. I did a bit of acting.
I actually read a thing that said your parents brought you an audition.
Well, they did. I was playing rugby. My dad brought me because we moved from sort of outside Ballymena to Coleraine, and there was a theatre there, Riverside Theatre, still going, I think. Although it's under threat at the minute. People don't go to the theatre anymore, so and they were doing a Christmas production of Oliver, and they were using a professional company, but they were using kids from the area, and I'd played rugby with under 13s, I suppose it must have been, and then my dad grabbed me and brought me out, and And we were too late for the auditions, but we looked around, we found the director, and Dad said, "Oh, so let him do something, you know." And so I sang Bohemian Rhapsody.
Did you?
All of it. Like, took about an hour and a half. The director.
You've got it.
Stop. Exactly. It was more or less. Shut up, you got it.
He wasn't going until he got that part.
What made your dad think it, dude? Like, if you're playing rugby, like, what made him go, fuck it, we'll bring James around this audition?
No, because I used to sing a lot.
Oh, right.
I sang in festivals when I was young, you know, Dad. And so, like, I mean, my father loved, he was a big sportsman. Like, he'd absolutely, like, he used to take me to every Northern Ireland match. He took me and my friends to every Northern Ireland match. And my mates, who are still my best mates since I was, since I moved to Coleraine since I was 11. My dad's nickname was Stupid, because at some point during every Northern... at some point during every Northern Ireland match, my father would shout out the referee, stupid. So that's what and I was just stuck with him all his life. Like, my mates would always go, how stupid.
Sick.
But so he was really sporty, but also because he was musical as well, and he knew I kind of like sort of might have enjoy it. I mean, he saw it before me in a sense. He said, "All right, you should go along." So I did the Artful Dodger, and then I kind of just kept at it.
When did you start thinking, do you know what, this is going to be like a career path for me?
I don't know. It's a good one, man. I didn't really necessarily think that. I mean, it's just when I went to Jordanstown.
Well,
and I was doing a French degree, I suppose, with an idea of becoming a teacher, but I was acting professionally quite a bit, because I had in those days you needed an equity card, like a union card, good old days of the unions, and you needed a union card to be able to act, and so I got one when I was very young, and so I was, rather than going to college, I was working with the Ulster Actors Company and stuff, like that, and then so I just decided to pack it in. Well, I was supposed to do an essay, and it was like 50 days late, so I was only going to be marked out of 50%. You lost a percentage point every day. I know. I just didn't get around it, and eventually, I kept lying to the lecturer, and I said to him, he said, "Where is the essay?"
I said, "The mark."
No, I said, I've done it. I said, I've done it, but I've sent it to my mother because it has to be typed, doesn't it? And he went, "Well, that's you fuck now." He didn't say that, but he said, "That means you haven't done it, but it means you're also going to have to do it, and you're going to have to type it," because I'd made up the bad lie. And I went home that night, I bought a typewriter, spent all night.
Typewriters, fuck me, ancient.
Bought a typewriter from an old girlfriend called. I have to be careful to get the right one here.
Long list.
Yes, we black. Nikki Kelso. And bought her typewriter, went round, and she's at home going, "Wasn't me." I never had a typewriter. And then, but I did the essay, and I went round and I woke my sister, my eldest sister, she was teaching in Belfast. She lived in Windsor Avenue. And I went round and woke her up at about 4 a.m. and said, "Would you ring to tell Mum and Dad I'm not giving up the degree tomorrow?" I was too scared to tell them. So that was it, gave it up. Went to drama school.
It's the best thing you've ever done then, really.
Okay, I went to drama school, but it was never... You never really think this is going to be my career.
That's the same as boxing. Like, we never thought, we're being amateur boxing, we're going to be, it's going to be us. You just gradually get bigger and bigger and bigger. And next thing you know,
all of a sudden, you're doing it.
Yeah,
that's what I do now.
That's it. That is.
I was about to ask you, like, when did you know a turning point in your career where you went, you know what?
Well,
I'm pretty big.
I worked from the day I left drama school. I left drama school in 19. I went to Central School of Speech and Drama in London, quite a good one, you know. And but I mean, my year, there was 28 in my year, and it was supposed to be a brilliant year, and it was supposed to be a brilliant time for that school. I would say within 5 years, about 6 of us were working. The rest were gone. I mean, it's just a nightmare.
Yeah.
It's you know, most actors are never work. It's as simple as that. But anyway, but the day after we left, there had been a call gone through from the BBC, and they'd wanted someone to do 2 days on this BBC film, and the secretary just recommended me, and I did 2 days. That's in 1988, and it was 250 quid a day. I thought,
that's pretty good.
Good money now. It is 250 quid a day.
That's so serious, though.
So I did that, and I thought, oh wow, this is great. I'm landing. And then I didn't work for a while, but then I never had to do really another job. I was always working. And then I did a film called Hear My Song about Joseph Locke, who's an Irish singer, and that was quite early. And then I did bits and pieces. And then you begin to think, actually, you know, this is going to obviously be my living. And then I suppose I did Cold Feet and stuff, and then all of a sudden people recognise you, and then it's like
Cold Feet was the
snowballs a wee bit.
Does that ever get you, like, always been James Nesbitt, Cold Feet star? Like, and even was that long ago, or are you happy to have that
I used to get Jeez, that's BT ads. I did that.
BT ads.
People used to say to me about the BT ads, but I did BT ads in Northern Ireland. But then I did a campaign for Yellow Pages in like UK and Ireland, but I mean, the Yellow Pages doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Because, and I'm sure a lot of it was the fact that I did these massively expensive Yellow Pages ads, which the ads used to pay good, but people used to think they were BT ads rather than Yellow Pages.
Right.
So no one ever said to me, "Oh, I love you in the Yellow Pages."
And it's always the BT.
But I'll keep getting known for things, and then
Yeah.
I mean, it's not
See,
the worst
the
thing.
acting game is a very tough game, I think.
Oh, right,
I done
Have you ever seen his film?
I've got film.
Which one's that?
The
Many
Mighty
Celt,
Celt.
it's called.
Oh, I know about that.
Gillian Anderson, Robert Clay, they were my mummy and daddy in it, and I was the main actor in it.
Were you?
Ah,
I
big
need to
star.
watch
You're
that.
in royalty.
I need to watch that now because Bobby Carlyle, I worked with, good actor.
Bobby's a lovely guy.
He's fantastic. Yeah.
Nice guy. But so I done that part, and I was like, you know what? Because this is my first audition.
How old were you?
14. So
I know. I mean, I haven't seen it, but I know of that movie. I almost watched it.
I only went around the school. I wasn't in drama school.
The boxing clubs?
But
came to boxing
my
club, did
the
it?
school, and then I went this. I got the part after 2,000 kids were all auditions for it, and I went, you know what? It's easy to get fucking actor roles around here. So I thought, this is me. I've made it, and it's fucking tough.
Oh, no, it's hard. I mean, it's
hard.
like, and I was, but I was, I mean, for all my gallivanting and easery, I also was quite hard working.
Yeah.
I was a bit of I kind of like the graft, I quite like the competition of it.
There's a lot of traveling for the auditions.
I know. And I was like, but I think one of the things was, even though I'm competitive and all that, I was always really competitive in sports, still am, I mean, it's, like, I used to huff really badly if I used to play tennis. If I didn't win. Yeah. I was a terrible huff. My father one day used to take me around the tennis tournaments. And I remember I played in the under-12s, I think, or maybe a bit older, I think under-12 grass court up in Ballycastle. Played in the final against a guy called Godfrey Gasson. He was very good. I always remember names, particularly the ones who beat me. And, I huffed so bad, and my daddy said, right,
Took
that's
a ball
it.
home
My
run.
my daddy said, that's it. I'm not taking it. He says, you've got to learn how to lose. He says, it's good to be competitive, but you've got to learn how to lose.
Yeah.
But I was always a bit heavy. But aside from that, the other thing about acting was I didn't really take it. Or I didn't think I was taking it that seriously. So maybe it relaxed me a bit more.
Yeah.
I mean, then as you get older, all of a sudden you think, fuck, right, this is what I do. And then you have, so I grafted it, but it didn't get me down in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, just stuck hard work.
Well,
Went for it
But,
and
I
paid
mean,
off.
What would be like as a winner if you were a bad loser? Were you
Good-
a
well,
bad winner as well?
no, good
oh
one.
my God.
No, very gracious. It's easy to be a good winner.
Just have because in boxing obviously we have rivalry. Do you have him in acting? Like you say,
Oh, no, you do, aye.
Oh, he's back for the fucking
Yeah.
audition.
No, well, I mean, I always say I only watch things that I'm in, so don't watch. I haven't watched that much recently. No, you definitely do. You do often go up for the same parts with people. But then I used to get compared a lot to an actor called John Hanna. He's Scottish.
Yeah, no,
And
he's,
people always think,
he's four wins if you know.
Aye.
He doesn't even look anything.
No, he doesn't look
I don't know, like few
serious?
drinks, I'd be like, oh, is
A
it?
few drinks, like, what fuck's sake? We're talking about casual fans in the street mistake. We're talking about
I know, it's weird.
I saw you on Graham Norton,
All right.
and you were saying that the director was going, I loved you. And
Oh no,
that's
the producer. No, it was when they cast me in The Hobbit. And the head of Warner Brothers, Alanson, the head of Warner Brothers, were out with dinner with Peter Jackson and stuff. And all of a sudden, the head of Warner Brothers is going, I gotta tell you, I loved you in 4 weddings. I'm like, fuck me, they've actually cast the wrong person in The Hobbit. My entire family are here for 3 years.
What did you say to him when he
You
said
think you
that?
got someone else?
What did you say?
I said, I don't think. I said, and then Peter Jackson went,
Was I in
that? It's mad, that though.
Fuck that.
But then you do sometimes. There's my partner's brother did a big thing for me of like a kind of a frame of everything, the sort of the DVD covers of things I've been in, and he got it off Wikipedia. And there's one, the boys from the. It's an Irish film with Andrea Corr and stuff, but it says that I'm in it. I was never in it.
You know him.
Yeah, if you look on this, it says, oh yeah, starring James
Take
Nesbitt.
it, a win's a win.
I'll take it.
You have
Get
to-
on the free.
Obviously we'd have your favourite roles that you've ever done.
Yeah.
What's the worst roles do you think?
Worst.
Ones that you've been embarrassed to be like, were you in that? No,
Oh, I did a couple. I did a thing. I
He was
I
in that
think-
old boys one, he's letting on, he was.
the ones that you feel bad about are, because I mean there's things I've been in, I'm sure that haven't been that good, but I've always kind of like, I think, kind of hope that I've given my best, you know.
Yeah.
But there's a couple of things that I look back and think,
Fuck's sake.
I sort of phoned that in a wee bit. You know, I wasn't really on it, and I wasn't kind of thinking. You know, there's a couple of things that there's a show I did called, I've forgotten the names of some of them. There's one called Midnight Man, I think, and then there's another thing that I just don't.
Just erase it from the memory banks.
I just don't think I don't think I was on it. Do you know if you ever had that? Sometimes I suppose it's different in sport.
No, you can have bad
but
days
I mean,
boxing where
but
they
you know,
fuck
but
me.
when you're just kind of, I wasn't quite on top of that. There, I was kind of might have got a bit distracted. I might have got a wee bit ahead of myself. Might have thinking I was doing well, you know, and just just do, you know, and you can't do that because the thing about my game, well, fuck, I'm so old. You know, it's like I keep thinking. I mean, you're going to get found out at some point. But you just can't. Everyone's replaceable. Like, everyone is replaceable.
Well, it's the same as boxing as well. It's the same as sport. There's always someone behind you trying to get to a position.
Work harder than you and trying to. But see in like auditions and stuff. When do you still have to audition, or does that finish?
Not much. I mean, it depends what it was.
Doesn't know what they're getting.
It depends what. Yeah, it depends what it is. Because I suppose I'm in a very lucky position where sometimes things are kind of built around you, you know. But there's so the last thing I auditioned for, I mean, if I was going to go up for something in America, I'd probably audition. You know, you do a tape now at home. I mean, everything's all about self-tapes.
Zoom meetings.
Well, it's ridiculous. Like I was doing a thing. There's a program called The Morning Show. It's on in America with Jennifer Aniston and Reese Witherspoon. It's about a news program. It started about 4 or 5 years ago. And I mean, they wanted me to do a tape of it for this quite big character, and which actually I thought I had. It was between me and someone else. And then my agent never ever tells me unless it's signed. Yeah. And she phoned me and said, "I think it's going to work out." This and that, I didn't get it. But anyway, I had to do a self tape. But you need someone else to read the lines. And the scene that they sent me to do was my character with Jennifer Aniston's character, and I'm called Chip, and her and she's saying to me lines like "Fuck you, Chip, you didn't fucking do this," but the only person that could do it with me was my goddaughter, Charlotte Carson, who was 13 at the time.
Fuck you,
Chip. Port Rush accent, so I'm giving it all, and she's going, "Fuck you, Chip." So it's kind of quite hard sometimes to do those. But I mean, in terms of stuff I'm doing here, no, I mean, I think that's bad because I think you can get complacent if you don't audition.
Yeah. Would you get nervous in auditions?
I get nervous on...
or even shoot days? Would you?
I get nervous on shoot days sometimes, yeah. I would. When I was doing... No, you do a lot. I mean, it depends what you're doing. Like when I did that, actually, one of the last things I auditioned for, like in the islands, is was a thing I did years ago called The Missing. But losing a wee lad on holiday.
I just finished watching it.
All right, yeah. And I auditioned for that because, you know, it was quite an intense thing. But I was really nervous about that because I wanted it a lot. Yeah. And then when you're doing, like, on some of the days you're doing some of the heavy kind of stuff. Or even years ago when I did a show called Jekyll, about Jekyll and Hyde. Like, the first day I played Hyde, which is the kind of the monster one, I was really nervous about that because a lot of the time it's like, you know, it sounds a bit wanky, but I mean, it's like you sometimes have to like throwing yourself off a cliff, really, you know, and it's just taking
out of your comfort zone,
and it's just taking.
You're in front of a lot of people as well.
No, I know. Yeah, I always remember that.
Fuck, that's especially if you do accents as well. See, doing accents.
Well, half the time I do my own accent. I mean, but I do accents. But
I think accents and acting together would be a fucking nightmare. I would know how to like change your face when you're like go with it. It'd be fucking tough.
See, in The Missing.
Yeah.
So see in season 2. So in season 1 you're the star.
Season 1 is me, yeah.
Season 2.
Then they brought
you're
back
in one episode, and then
I don't think I'm in any in season 2.
You are in the first episode when you go up to the.
I've
literally just finished watching
Season 2.
Season 2, episode 1. You're in Russia, and you rap the door, and the wee boy opens it, and you go, "It's you."
No, that was the end of season 1.
Tommy, come on. I think it's
my. I'm in season 2. I'm getting paid for it.
It's episode 1, and then you get took away.
No, that's the end. Is
that the last episode?
That's the last episode.
And then season 2.
Then season 2 it brought back the detective guy.
Why did that? Hold on before we move on that, because this has been doing my head in. Why did it just skip into a completely different?
Because I think they thought my story was over. Because what were they going to do in a way with Ollie? I think that was my character. the amount of people that go after the missing was on.
Yeah.
Everywhere I went, people were shouting at me, Ollie! Ollie! Where's Ollie? You find him? And I was thinking, he's a 5-year-old kid, he's going missing. It's not really that funny. It's funny also, I'll tell you, at the time, I was kind of the face of Thomas Cook. The holidays, they went bankrupt as well. There's a different pattern.
Whiskey and Waits fucked.
There's a
The final episode there. Thanks for being.
But anyway, but Thomas Cook, I think, and they had just done. I was doing a big campaign, like taking my family on holidays, and someone tweeted after the first episode of the missing joke. Someone actually tweeted. Someone said, "I've just seen Jimmy's latest Thomas Cook campaign. It's a bit long, and it's not exactly selling holidays in France to me." And then I think Thomas Cook thought, maybe we shouldn't have as the face of our campaign a guy who loses his 5-year-old kid on holiday.
Did you get trapped in?
Yeah, bye.
Did you get trapped?
Yeah.
I want to know how it feels being a sex idol.
Sensational.
There is.
Sensational.
And I was researching it. All I kept seeing pop up was sex idol.
No, I mean, but
sexiest
I've
man.
never
long
been in
time
a buzz
ago.
cocks.
Well, never in the buzz
And they were all going,
I was locked on that.
Girls want to drink with them.
I was locked on that. And then they took the piss out of me. I did get locked on that. I used to do that a bit too much. I used to get locked on those shows.
It's rock and roll looks, I guess, with a roll on.
There's harp here for you.
I know. We'll have a harp. I might have a harp. I was, I did the, Chris Evans used to have a show, TFI Friday. And they did it a couple of times. They did it on Paddy's Day. They did it in St Patrick's Day from Dublin one time, and there was me, great lineup, me, you two, and the Cars were the guests. But I was
Powerful.
I got locked before we did a radio show in the morning. And there was drink there and stuff. And by the time we got to do the live show, and it's terrible. I walk on, and you can hear me. And then for the next 10, like about 8 weeks, Chris would show me walking on in slow motion. When I came on as a guest, I was like, the whole thing was wild.
It's good publicity.
Do you wake up like?
That nightmare. The worst era was after family.
That's just been
Oh
saying.
my God! I'll tell you exactly what happened. So, because Ireland had been playing England that day, and all my mates came, and I was doing cold feet in Manchester.
Because you were still wearing the
You weren't over.
Well, they told me
it was no football tops. You come in with
football.
Jimmy Nesbitt does what he
I
wants.
went with Jason Ferguson. Jason Ferguson, Alex's son, and Jason's a good friend of mine. And the whole crowd of us went, and Jason said to me, "We're on our way there," and I laughed already because we've been watching the rugby. And I put on the Northern Irish and Jason went, "There's no shirts," and I went, "Oh, I'll be fine. And I hit it.
I'm Jimmy fucking Nesbitt.
It'll be fine. But I really wanted it to be there because it was car and everything. Anyway, so we get there, and all my mates went to they're in somewhere else, and I was down front. And it just kind of hit me. And I thought, I'll take that off. Then I saw all the paps and all, and I was like, but I was thinking I was king of the world. And then,
what was it you
then
said?
I did an interview. I did the interview with Martin and AP
Fuck's
McCall.
gone quick.
No, but it was only the next day so I got to sleep, and the next day I turned on the phone in the morning, and 205 messages.
Fuck. How bad anxiety when that happens?
and the first one was my ex Sonia just said, "Have fun last night."
Fuck.
And I went, "What's happened?" Oh my
The fear
God.
kicking in.
Just looking at the message, and it's like, "Oh my God, what were you like?" And then I just googled my name.
Just everything.
Holy fuck.
And
Didn't have to get a drink in just to kill the hang
the next day I was going to Singapore because we were just started with, so we had just brought back Kofi after 19 years. So I flew to Singapore, and then actually a guy I know, can't remember his name, but he was editing who was doing the chat show? And because Carr came on a chat show the following week. It might have been Nolan or someone. And he had phoned me and said, "Listen, why don't you do a wee piece from Carl talking about me getting a bigger kicking than Scott Quigg?" Because people were betting on me when like Colin Murray and stuff was saying I don't think much about the fight, but Nesbitt's going down in the fight. It was horrific. The whole thing, and then the Euros happened. So I did this interview, and then it was all right.
What happened in the Euros?
No, but when the Euros happened, because all of a sudden Sky, when they put, or when it was when the ad was on, like if you googled the ad, someone had put in like a translation of what I was saying, because it was like and they made up all these words. I think I'm an Italian Ferrari. And so when I went out to Nice first of all, and then Lyon for a couple of the Northern Ireland matches, and there were these posters of me like that there. Well, the thing. So it was good. It actually turned out all right in the end. Yeah, it was that.
Seems anything bad that happens in his life turns out pretty good.
No, but I mean that was.
It's up with your attitude, but if you had took it like, oh fuck, and then going.
Well, you have to kind of own it, I suppose.
Yeah.
Like, see, day-to-day life in the street, do you be tortured?
No, I mean here. Listen, people are very, and at the risk of sounding arrogant, people are really nice here.
No, fuck them.
I mean, they're kind of, you know, they're very good at keeping you down to earth, but they're sort of proud of you, and they kind of like, so they're dead on, you know. So I mean, it's lovely. I mean, it's a really lovely relationship. I am so grateful. I cannot tell you how grateful I am for the way people are with me here, and and from everywhere in Northern Ireland.
See, in Belfast, well, in the North of Ireland as well, like, you wouldn't even know if they recognise you because everyone just says right to everyone anyway.
I know Belfast people are like trying to go out of their way and not, no, like act like they don't know you. Like, he ain't says something. No, like they're not.
Yeah. No, but I've got I mean, it's interesting. It's like you're part of a family here, so they're proud of you, but also they'll be like they'll keep you down to earth, you know.
And that's what you kind of need.
Well, that's exactly what you need.
Yeah. Especially being a fucking star, like that's nice.
That's it.
See, in Ballymena, there must be something in the water in Ballymena because Jimmy Nesbitt and Neeson both come out of there.
Liam grew up in the same street. Well, I'm
same street.
He as my granny. Oh, my name. Why is he older than me?
Sorry. That was a joke.
He is no, but Liam. The first thing Liam ever said to me, actually, years and years ago, was when I met him. He said, "Jimmy, was your Granny Nesbitt?" And I said, "Funny enough, she was." But Liam he grew up in the same Cordy Gardens in Ballymena, the same street, but he remembered my granny and my granda, and also because my granda had served at the Somme and stuff, and the 100th anniversary, I suppose, 2018, at the end of the First World War, Liam sent me this gorgeous wee sort of poppy made out of the shelling from the Somme. You know, they had all the annies. You know,
would you have known Liam growing up? No.
Oh no, because I was.
You been away?
I was. No, it was just that he grew up in the same street as Granny. I mean, I knew of him. He was a good bit older than me. But then when we met years and years ago, we just sort of clicked actually. To tell you the truth, and then we did this film, 5 Minutes of Heaven, which I loved, and he kind of got it. He made it happen. It was sort of based on real life characters here. And he's magic. He's such a great, decent.
It's probably good to see, especially, you know, like when you're in Hollywood, you see like a familiar face, even though it's not, but somebody from home, and then you can.
And he's great, and he loves coming home. You know, he loves it. No, we used to have the odd bit of crack now, Liam and me. Just to close the odd restaurant now and again. We had a bit of fun. Those are the old days. Yeah.
Well, I suppose, who really inspired? Did anyone inspire you, or just?
Yeah, quite. I mean, I don't know. Like, I used to love James Ellis, who's before your time, but James Ellis is a Northern Irish actor that so many people would know. He was a real kind of torchbearer. He was from Belfast. He was a bit of a poet. He was really working class. He ran the group theatre in his 20s. He was in a show in England, a TV show called Z Cars. He was one of the first people that have the Northern Irish accent out there, and he really inspired me a lot. And Adrian Dunbar, actually, quite a bit. Adrian's not much older than me, but, you know, Adrian from Line of Duty and stuff. I saw a play he did at the Lyric when I was still at school called Hidden Curriculum. But then just, you know, I watched a lot of films when I was younger. But I mean, the thing is, it was a good way to meet girls. Acting. I mean, acting was
really
pleasant. What's that?
I didn't meet any girls when I acted. I was too scared. Fuck's sake.
I read a thing, and you dubbed yourself the George Clooney for drinking.
Oh no! You know, the drinking woman's George Clooney. Well, I think you can remember that.
So the women have to be drunk.
No, more or less.
Get them block the head. See me. George is 11.
No, I thought that was quite good. The drinking woman's George Clooney. No, yeah.
We'll leave that.
We'll leave that.
Tell me, did you do any stage acting?
Oh, a lot, aye.
What do you
done
prefer,
with
stage or
musicals?
screen?
You did-
Oh,
I
no,
did
but
a lot
you
of
were only a
musicals.
kid, what were you?
No, but I did stage, and then when I went to drama school, I did loads of theatre, and I loved it. You know, I sort of trained in that, but then I got into filming, and you know, and this is like sacrilegious to say this, but I love theatre, but it's quite. You know, if you're rehearsing for say 8 weeks and then you're playing for
Every day.
6 months, you know, it's
draining.
There's not that it's just draining. I sort of like to move from thing to thing a wee
Yeah.
bit. You know, although having said that, I've done a lot of series, but I do love it, and I actually did a musical, kind of a play musical thing about 3 years ago, just before pandemic. And then there's talk I might do another play. But,
Oh, really?
So can you actually like play the piano as well? Cause
I play a bit of piano,
You were
yeah.
playing the piano in one of them shows. Was it
Oh,
the
Stay
Mission you were
Close.
playing? Stay Close, aye.
Yeah. Actually, funny enough, that wasn't me playing.
All right.
No, I played a wee bit of it, but it was actually my best mate, Alan Harton. He came in, he played the piano, and I minded. But no, I do play the piano.
Would you get your? I know your kids. They actually acted in Hobbit, didn't they?
Oh yeah, they had bigger roles than me in the third one.
Are they getting into acting, or are they?
Nah, they didn't sort of. I mean, they could have, and you know, they're. And
You're
they've grown
the
up-
gateway to
they've
get them in the big
They've grown
stuff.
up amongst it. I mean, that was just a fluke. We were in New Zealand, and because we were going to be there for the Hobbit, and we were there for so long, and then Peter Jackson wanted to kind of like. I suppose he wanted just for the demographic of it to have some younger ones in it, and they kind of created these roles as Bard the Bowman's daughters, and they ended up having big roles in it, and they enjoyed it, but I think they
don't
it's
want-
not for
yeah,
them.
yeah.
No.
What were they and Annie?
No, Peggy. Well, Peggy's retrained as a makeup artist actually,
Really?
and she's just been working in Belfast. She's just been doing a film here called.
Well, she say she's working in film, but as a makeup
As a
artist.
makeup
Behind the
artist,
scenes,
yeah, behind
okay.
the scenes. She's on the side of the camera then, and Mary's in Manchester University. She's doing French and English.
So see when you went to, is like the England for stage school or for acting school? Was it drama school?
Aye, drama school.
Like see when you got there, I remember I read that you were another Paddy. They were
Oh, is
calling
that?
you.
I was understanding
So
this.
see, like being in England, did that make you lean into your Irishness more?
Well, it
than
made me
you've been
it
there?
certainly made me explore it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's documented certainly recently when I spoke in Dublin. Kind of like, you know, I mean, I was from a Protestant background, sort of kind of unionist, I suppose, up in Ballymena. But Dad, although funny enough, my dad was quite interesting. He sent me and my three sisters to the convent to learn the piano. Because I think he was trying to send out a message that there should be integration and blah blah blah. But certainly I was from, you know, and I don't refute my Protestant background or my culture. I played the flute, you know, I did all that. But when I
Flute's
went,
not just Protestant, James.
I played in the flute band.
That makes sense.
I played in the flute band. Did you read the Catholics play the flute? I don't think they were allowed to. That's disappointing.
We can't have nothing. That's still a little.
Jeez. You'll be marching next. Anyway,
These guys.
but so I marched and did all that. But anyway, when I went to, but in a way, it's kind of because I grew up fairly distant. I mean, you were able to grow up distant from the Troubles in a way, even though if it was just over there.
Yeah.
It depends probably what way your family are.
No, exactly. You know. But so when I went to drama school, I was automatically assumed because I was involved in acting and wasn't like wearing a bowler hat and kind of that I must have been, oh, you're an actor, you must be a Republican, you must all this, and I was quite confusing, you know, when I was saying, oh yeah, well this is my background, blah blah blah.
What age was this?
I was then 19, I suppose, or 20, but also, you know, I've said this before, I've got in trouble before for saying it, but I mean unquestionably. You know, there were two types of history being taught to two different communities. You know, I was taught history from certainly some of the Irish history I was taught, or some of the history of the relationship between these islands. I certainly was taught from a British perspective, and I'm sure the opposite was the case for you guys. Yeah. So that was one of the things that continued them and, you know, sustained division a lot of the time was, you know, that people didn't know that we never kind of shared anything. But certainly when I went to drama school, and then when I left drama school and started to play, you know, Irish roles, when I, for example, again, it's well documented when I did Bloody Sunday, that really made me look at not only about acting and what acting could do, but certainly where I come from and what my relationship is with that place. And you know, it certainly my life was changed hugely by that film in all sorts of ways. And I continue to want to do that. You know, I continue to kind of think of it as a responsibility for someone, particularly of my generation and where I come from, that, you know, it's important for an actor to tackle the troubles because it's like an actor taking on like a big Shakespearean role or something, you know, it's like a version of King Lear. And it means I can find out more about where I come from. I can find out the power of what the job I have can do, and hopefully can do things for good as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Would you ever go into the other side of like directing or?
No, I don't think so. I mean, it's interesting. It's like I sort of would be very work in a very collaborative way. So it's like I work with the director a lot, work with the writer a lot. I mean, writers can be. I mean, writers do my. Yet they're also. I mean, nothing happens without a writer.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's me finished now forever, and I haven't said that. But yeah, so I enjoy the notion of kind of working with the people, but directing itself, no. I mean, it's like that's a pretty lonely existence.
But you love theatre, so would you ever do like a show for theatre or like write a script for that?
No, because I do a lot of writing kind of when I'm involved in stuff. I kind of like add to the characters. Well, I add to characters a lot like that, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're allowed to do that. But I like the whole process. The process is I love, listen, it's like, you know, you're talking about my daughters there. The really bad thing about, the one bad thing about acting is the rejection thing.
Yeah.
You know, I've been lucky. But that's what can fuck people up completely. Because, you know, there are so many people going for jobs. Yeah. And so that level of rejection can have an impact on people, you know. But the world is fucking great. You know, the world is, and in terms of the fact that there's people from, there's, you know, it's multi-ethnic, it's multi-class. I mean, there's people from every kind of background. There's kindness, there's camaraderie. There's a lot less of the really bad isms that we know in life. You know, like sexism. I mean, obviously there's been quite a bit of it actually in the industry. You know.
Have you ever been Me Too'd?
No.
That's Me Too.
That's when people were getting. No, the directors were, James, we've got a role for you, and then
I had to disappear into the trailer with him. No one was ever that keen on me. No.
Fuck's sake, Tommy.
No one was ever wanted me that for a part. But no, obviously that's been terrible. But I mean, for the most part, there's also something brilliant about that, the world of it, you know. And I've always loved going to work.
Yeah. Did you go through many rejections? Or were you always the star and getting
No,
parts?
God, no, there was the jobs I didn't get. But I mean, unquestionably, I think it helped in a way. I mean, Cold Feet was a big thing because just the timing of it was right, you know, because it was actually, when I went up for that, it wasn't written for someone from the north of Ireland. No. But I went up and I said, listen, this should definitely be, but you should definitely have this person Northern Irish, because I just thought the timing was right to have a Northern Irish character.
You just didn't want to do an accent.
No, but it was also,
Northern Irish.
It was also right. It was also right just to have the Northern Irish accent out there, everywhere, and so that was good.
That was when it was changing here as well.
Exactly.
So,
things were beginning to change, you know, and then also there was a lot of more writing in a sense came out as things changed here. It kind of freed people up to then write more stuff about here in a way. And so there was always work for me. I mean, but I did. I mean, so I was pretty lucky. But you know, I'd fight for things now and again. You know, I mean, you have to kind of fucking.
Always. It seems like, obviously, people don't see, like you say, the graft and the grind behind the scenes, but everything you touch seems to always do well.
Well, it's done okay, you know, and it's
resulted in an OBE. How did you feel getting an OBE?
What was good, you know, I was great for like my father and stuff like that there, and that's a recognition. Also, what was good about the OB was actually really good. It was for acting, but it was also for services to the community here, which I really like the idea of, because I've been involved with wave trauma for a very long time.
What is wave trauma?
Okay, they started about over 20 years ago. They were set up mainly by women on both sides of the conflict who had lost partners. And it was later expanded to offer counselling to anyone that was bereaved, traumatised, or affected by the troubles. So it was hugely cross community. I was brought in years and years ago just as a kind of a patron. I loved what they were doing, and then I also met quite a lot of. They started to do a lot of work with children, including our children who had lost their parents on both sides. You know. So Peter's daughters and everyone's kids have been involved. Civilians, everyone, and they were brilliant. And we did a thing called Art Wave because one of the kids I've met early on hadn't spoken for about 2 years. She was since she had witnessed her father being shot, I think, in front of her, and hadn't spoken. And somehow Wave got hold of her, and eventually, after like a couple of years or something, she managed to do a drawing of it, the memory of it, and it kind of like came out, And so we did this thing called Art Wave, in which I got emerging and established artists from Ireland, but then also I expanded it to have like celebrity art. So there was loads of people did things, and so we made a lot of money from that. But then the more peace there was here, the more they took away their funding. It's like, you're
doing all right now, yeah. She's don't need it.
No. But actually, it was that people were beginning to start talking about it. So we continued working with them, and then they got really involved with the families that disappeared. And so I've been working with them for a very long time. And so I think that was to go back to your original question, the OBE and stuff. But I love that, just not being an actor. I think there's stuff like that there. And that I love because, I mean, again, at the risk, really, I am aware there's always the fine line between sounding like a wanker when you talk about things. Yes, I'm on the right show, though.
Yeah, you're on the right show. Not like boxers are all me.
Yeah,
we are the men. So feel free to be the man.
Yeah. But one of the great privileges of having a bit of success is that you can have some. I'm a UNICEF ambassador, and I have been for 15 years, and I love it. And it's a real privilege. It's not like it doesn't feel like, oh fuck, poor me. Actually, the first time I went on a UNICEF trip, the first day or so, you kind of think, oh my God, poor me, I'm seeing this terrible thing, and then you sort of very quickly realise, actually, it's fuck all to do.
Yeah.
I'm just telling a story.
So I feel bad there. I feel like I may restart my Concern sponsorship. I was sponsored. Tell them off, now I cancelled it.
Oh no!
He cancelled it.
I ring him and say, get that started again.
Yeah. So let's go.
Is there any dream roles that you would want in the future?
Yeah, I mean,
or any roles that you auditioned for that you didn't get, and you seen the person getting it, and you went, he's shit. I'd have done a far better job. Yeah, the damn it is. Look at him. This guy's Liam Neeson walked in with me, following me in the accent.
No, but I'll tell you this truthful thing, and Liam would admit this, which is ridiculous now if you look back on it. But I actually, and this is God's truth, and in fact, it's one of the first things Liam said to me. He says, I made sure I checked that was the case. I actually, only because I imagine they didn't go to think they would go to Liam anyway. They probably thought he was too big or something at the time. But Love Actually, I was cast in that role. I was at the read through and stuff, or when we did the reading of to see how it sounded, and then I was going to play Liam's role in Love Actually.
Really?
But then Cold Feet wouldn't release me. Wouldn't fucking release me. And so they went to Liam. And then when I saw Liam, because I met Liam just after Love Actually came out, and he came up to me and says, listen, I know that you were offered Love Actually. He says, but I just checked that you couldn't be released. And I was like, no, brilliant. But I was thinking, fuck, as if he needed that. I mean, those are those moments. So, you know what everyone's favourite Christmas movie? And I'm like, fuck.
You hate that movie.
It's on again.
That's bad for
you. He's got the remote there.
That's like me. I was in Thai. I used to live in Tommy's granny's house with him.
All right.
And the director of The Mighty Celt phoned up his granny. They lived in the kind of same street. Phoned up his granny. Said, look, the directors of Game of Thrones want Tyrone to be a level part for Tyrone. And I was like, happy days. Give me the number. I phoned up and I arranged to meet them on Saturday. They said, we've got a part. We just want to meet you. Go through what's going to happen. I was like, happy days. And I realised Saturday was a Jay-Z concert in Manchester. And I didn't know what Game of Thrones was. It had me now.
No!
So I looked at it there. I fucking tell me, like, we're going to Jay-Z.
Jay-Z. Anyway, I suppose I have a part to play as well. I should have had Tyrone, fuck's sake. But Game of Thrones is sounded shit. And it's in Belfast. It couldn't be that big.
Next thing, I can't watch Game of Thrones there.
But were you thinking, was there ever a point when you were thinking choice between boxing and acting?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. So I'd done the acting when I was 14, so I was still boxing. I was involved in boxing. Then afterwards, I was heavily involved in boxing still. Yeah. And then I left boxing about 20 or 19, And then I was just drinking like every 18, 19-year-old was doing.
No, I've seen that movie. Yeah. As an I've been on.
Lived it.
Yeah.
But
I've been on that rodeo.
so like when it came to 20, I said to myself, what the fuck am I doing? I'm just drinking every night.
Right.
And I said, right, I got boxing, I got acting. Boxing, you can do the 35.
Yeah.
And then that's you done.
Yeah.
But with acting, you can kind of go
Yeah,
back.
of course.
So I said to myself, I'll see what I can do with boxing.
Wow.
And if it falls
back
through,
to
go to
acting,
go to acting. It's been pretty good right now.
Brilliant.
So
How fantastic.
acting. Hopefully, we'll come back once. I think it's maybe my last year boxing. And
All
then
right. How old are you now?
32.
Right, okay.
So I'll be 33 in a month.
What's your next fight then? You're training.
Down the Odyssey in
Right.
SSE.
All right.
I'll be fighting. Hopefully in Paddy's Day, but
Okay.
see, boxing you never get like
I know, it's
concrete
always so much
information. It's always like,
rigmarole.
yeah, maybe
Really?
until there's a poster on the billboard somewhere. I don't believe it because it always like it
Even
always.
up until like you're walking to the ring, until you actually get
Yeah.
into the ring, it's like,
I know,
oh,
like,
like,
even-
this what's going to happen.
my
But
last-
surely with your big fights, you must have always known that's
Big
happening,
fights,
happening.
no, well, big fights is
Nah, because
different,
even
but
my
there's some
my
of them
last
are-
one I was co-main
Yeah.
the week before.
in the SSE arena. I was co-main, and like a week before, your man had a flu, had to pull out.
Oh,
So-
yeah.
Or I went over to Dubai. I actually caught Frotman's
Yeah.
last fit.
Well,
Yeah.
So I was on that show, and I flew the whole way to Dubai, done my training camp, landed, jumped on the scales, made the weight, and the guy got COVID that day.
The
Oh, fuck
morning
off.
of
And I
the
just
fight.
went, fuck me. And you want to see the travelling I had to do to get
Oh,
home.
nightmare.
Oh, fuck. It was
Yeah,
about,
it was
I think
all
I
during
remember
COVID,
that.
about
yeah.
3 days it took me to get home from fucking Dubai.
yeah.
Nah, didn't get a fight, didn't get
Yeah.
my wage, didn't get nothing. You don't get nothing if you don't fight, like,
That's
so
not good.
it's a bit of a nightmare.
COVID fucked up a lot of things.
Yeah, of
Fucking-
course did, yeah.
even-
How did it do with your acting?
It was it stopped it for a good bit. Although funny enough, I had just finished the first series of Bloodlands. We wrapped on. Tell you, it was a bloody nightmare because we wrapped on I think the 13th of March, or it was right. It was the weekend. We had the wrap party. The
weekend
weekend
of-
before it sort of all really began to hit. And I went to the wrap party and it was quite a fairly big old thing. And on the Monday, by the Monday I was still feeling like awful. I thought, Jesus, I'm getting too old for a wrap party, so I'm still feeling this bad. But I was supposed to go back to London to see my girls. And my daddy wanted me to go and represent him at a funeral for a cousin of mine who passed. And so I went up, so maybe that was on the Monday. So I went up to the funeral, and on the way, my business partner, because I own G&H here. I don't know if you know the facilities company. That's my, he was taking me up. And I was saying, I just still feel bad from the rap party, not good. Went up to this funeral for my cousin, and the average age was probably about 80. I'm in there hugging everything and all. And I get back, and no one really knew what COVID was.
Yeah. It's only started.
It was just really starting. We hadn't even locked down. And I can say this now because everyone was grand, but I got home that night. And
Thankfully.
Neela's dead, Sheila's dead, Barry's dead.
Could have been that. Because that night I got back and my so I hadn't gone to London, and my partner said like through the night she could feel the heat coming off me, and I was like, and things go through me quite quick. All my life I've never really get ill. If I ever get the flu when I was young, it went through very quick.
Yeah.
Even really bad hangovers would go through quick. So I thought, God, this was a really bad one of those. But then that night, Katie was saying she could just feel the heat coming off me and the sweat. So the next day I was feeling bad, and then I began to think this might be this thing. But I went up to I had to go up to Portrush, and I got to Portrush. We've got a place up there. I got up there in the evening, and my partner called and said, "You need to get back here. I'm not well." And I had a couple of drinks. I said, "I'll come back in the morning." So I went back on the phone, drove up the phone one night, and I thought she was dying, man. So then I thought, because you couldn't do tests for it, man. I thought, right, I've definitely gone. And I'm just thinking, I've wiped out the entire at the funeral, because I'm telling you, the average age.
You must have been panicking.
Oh, I thought I wiped them out.
Texting everyone, how's your mummy? Is she alright?
So 2 weeks, and then, but funny enough, I obviously had it because I tested later. They were able to do a test a couple of months later to see if you'd had it.
Previously, yeah.
And so I obviously had it, but I obviously didn't spread it,
Yeah.
But so, for in terms of the acting, to go back to the original question, that then stopped for a while. But I just finished Bloodlands anyway. But then the next thing I did was Stay Close, Netflix thing. But that was the kind of the year after when things had started again. But it was just so different.
Yeah.
Like, really, it was. I mean, it was great that you could do it and stuff. But I mean, it's just mass everywhere.
So when you were in the scene, or
you're doing where you rehearse the scene in
then you
masks
take
and
it
all
off.
that, and you take it off. Yeah, really odd. And then just test it every day. And then the difficulty is because there's so much money involved in those things. If anyone got it, the whole fucking thing's down. You know, and that's a nightmare.
Yeah. That's the same as like boxing.
The boxing, it was
We
so
had
scary.
empty crowds.
And
I'm
then-
a man that gets in the wars every fight, and the crowd goes
Yeah,
crazy.
of course, yeah.
And if there's no crowd there, I just fucking have shit.
And like even for the weigh-ins, I fought for European
Yeah.
title during COVID, so it was like I was shitting them because if a coach gets COVID,
Ah,
the whole
yeah.
fight's
The whole
off.
fight's
So
off.
I had the positive COVID test.
starting-
My coach, he had two.
Oh.
His
Yeah.
coach, his team, so it was
Perfect.
so much things written on it. And then he had to go into quarantine for 24
Yeah.
hours and waiting them coming
I
to
know.
give you the results. And I was going, fuck.
Because
You're
you're
just
right.
funny.
I haven't
You just
came.
hear me knocking the door, knocking
It's
the door.
going,
Like,
is everyone passed? Yeah, don't be worried. And then it's like
Yeah.
a big relief.
Yeah,
So
of
much
course, yeah,
pricing.
Yeah,
you know, COVID was a terrible
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
But we'll play a wee game on this
Okay.
called Smack.
Smack, blank, or buy a dragon claw,
We're
which
gonna
is
give
the
you-
whiskey.
We're going to give you three
names.
and you have the blank one, Smack one, and
Bad
Bad
Drink.
Dragon Claw.
Okay.
So the three names are Liam Neeson, Michael Fassbender, and Peter Jackson.
Right, so Smack Fassbender.
Okay. He's
Straight away.
This man's choking for Fassbender. Fassbender, you better watch out.
Blank Jackson.
Why blank him?
Well, because I mean,
Because he didn't even know who he was. Was it Peter didn't know who he was?
No,
John Hannah keeps on blanking me.
no, actually, no. I'm going to revisit. I'd smack Liam now.
Okay.
Smack Liam.
Stole your part.
Smack Liam because Liam wouldn't smack me back.
And he stole your part.
He was
but here's a boxer.
Liam was a big boxer.
know.
He was
Is
a
he?
proper boxer.
He's got the
And actually,
hands.
He's got hands the size of fucking Lauren. Have you seen his hands? They're massive. But he was telling me a story because he used to be a bit of a hippie, and when he went to Kelly's one night, and Liam's from a certain background, and he went to Kelly's, and there was he went wearing a coffin. Sure, it was nothing to do with his background actually. He went wearing a coffin.
Name's a Catholic.
No, because I don't think it was to do with that. It was to do with the fact that he was wearing a big kaftan.
Yeah.
And apparently, he just when he walked in, the boy, there was a couple of boys in the door who just wanted to fucking have him. Because he was a big, good-looking boy. Liam, he was about 18, 19 at this stage, wearing a kaftan like Joseph's Technicolor Dreamcoat. And they found a reason to take him downstairs. And they're going to take him downstairs in Kelly's and give him a hiding. And the main bouncer comes in, and they're getting ready to give him a hiding. The main bouncer goes, Liam Neeson? He goes, yeah, and he'd fought him years ago as a kid.
off.
You know, that's what saved him. It was
Yeah.
brilliant that there.
Fuck.
But Liam wouldn't
you're gonna
smack me.
smack him?
I'd smack Liam because he would obviously he wouldn't smack me back. And also,
Hoping he doesn't. Please, Liam.
I'd buy Peter Jackson a drink.
He would find you.
He would find you very good. I knew you were alive. I would buy Peter Jackson a drink because
Okay.
then he's always someone who might be able to give you a drink. And I would blank Fassbender.
Okay.
No, Fassbender and I.
No, it's done. It's alright,
What
done.
is the issues with Fassbender?
No, it's just don't know. He and I
That's
were.
off camera.
He and I were really close. He and I were close. I took him to the. Do you know what? This is one year. I was taken to one of my best mates, a guy called Conor McAllister. He owns the Grafton Barber in Dublin, all the Grafton Barber shops. But he said for my birthday, he said, I'm taking you to the Monaco Grand Prix. And I was like, because I wasn't massively into Grand Prix. And I went, Brian, I said, what date is it? And it was the day of the FA Cup final between United and Arsenal. And the FA, the Premier League, or the FA, they wanted me to present the ball.
It's a big day. It's a big
I
day.
had to turn it down because Conor was taking me to the Grand Prix for my 40th birthday.
Connor,
what are you at? Fuck's sake.
Nightmare. But I took Fassbender then. No, Fassbender's brilliant.
Yeah.
But
That's why you want to smack
He
Fassbender.
fucked you over.
Yeah.
Big moment.
Yeah.
But thanks for joining, people. What a great time with the legend that is James
Thank you.
Nesbitt.
Thanks for coming, dude.
Oh, my great pleasure. I'm a big
Subscribe.
fan, boys. Well done. Thank you.
Subscribe and share. And if you want to see us play a bit of beer pong, and
Patreon,
we're
yeah.
gonna have a quiz, a live quiz of James Nesbitt on Patreon. So if
So
you
get
want,
your £2 out.
subscribe, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.